Welcome back. Egypt hosts today the Cairo Water Week 2021 under the auspices of President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi, and it's going to last until the 28th of October. To shed more light on this, we have the pleasure to have this phone with Mrs. Amira Sayed, journalist and Egypt representative at the World Youth Parliament for Water. Good morning, Mrs. Salim. Hello? Hello. Good morning, Mrs. Sayed.
Good morning.
Mrs. Sayed, I know that you are participating in this conference of the Cairo Water Week 2021. Could you give us an idea about your insight concerning the importance of Egypt hosting this event?
Yeah, so this year, this is the fourth edition of Cairo Water Week. It's held on annual basis since 2018. This year, the main theme is water, population, and global challenges. So definitely we know that overpopulation is piling pressure on the available water resources, a matter that requires collective efforts in order to address such water challenges. The most important session during this edition is the midterm comprehensive review of the Water Decade 2023 by the United Nations. It's going to be attended by the Egyptian Prime Minister, Dr. Mustafa Madbouli. Throughout this week, many topics are to be tackled. For example, the importance of international and sectoral cooperation for water security, and also there is another session about climate change and its impact on water resources. Another session about modern irrigation systems, wastewater treatment, and also the integrated water management as a tool to address water challenges. So definitely this year, the Cairo Water Week is very rich in its content.
Yes, yes, please. Mrs. Sayed, hello, Mrs. Sayed. Can you hear me? Mrs. Sayed.
Yeah, I hear you. Yeah.
Yes, Mrs. Sayed, so how did the climate change affect the availability of water?
Definitely, climate change has a direct impact on the available water resources. We know that the fresh water constitutes like 2.5% of all water on Earth, and only 1% is accessible, and the rest is trapped in glaciers. And definitely, when we are talking about the severe impact of climate change, now it's more severe like never before. We have seen many wildfires that have taken place in several countries worldwide. So it's very important to address the climate change in order to ensure water security. Actually, Egypt has an ambitious plan and its national strategy to address the climate change. And one of the main sessions of Cairo Water Week is going to highlight the national security to address the climate change. Yeah.
Yes, so Mrs. Sayed, also Egypt is about to host the climate change conference in November.
Yes, look, COP26 is going to be held in Glasgow, but in the upcoming year, 2022, Egypt is going to host COP27. Definitely hosting such environmental or international conferences dealing with environmental issues like water security and climate change is of paramount importance and reflects the seriousness of the political leadership here in Egypt to give a priority to such challenges, because now climate change is not just an environmental challenge, it's a developmental challenge. It has a direct impact on the development plan of any nation, and Egypt has its own vision for sustainable development, which is Egypt Vision 2030, and definitely climate change is part and parcel of Egypt's development plan. And we have seen recently that the Egyptian President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi in the UN General Assembly on climate change and many international conferences, he stressed the paramount importance of combining efforts to address climate change. President Sisi said that now humanity is facing and experiencing a very critical time. So this requires the collective actions towards this fight. One of the main issues that's going to be discussed in COP26 and COP27 is financial support for developing countries to address the climate change. We know that, for example, Africa is the most vulnerable to the climate change, but it is the least equipped to cope up with the impact of climate change. And it's very important important to offer financial support to developing countries to be able to adopt more environmentally friendly policies. So financial support for developing countries will be on the top of the agenda of COP26 in Glasgow, and also COP27 that's going to be hosted by Egypt.
Yes, Mrs. Sayed, could you, hello, we need to learn more about the integrated water resources management.
Yeah, when we are talking about integrated management for water resources, we are talking about ensuring a good quantity of water and also equality. We are talking about quantity and quality of water. In Egypt here, we have a national strategy that is focusing on four main elements or pillars of the national strategy are rationalizing water consumption, diversifying the available water resources, and improving the quality of water, besides ensuring integrated water management. For example, if you are talking about rationalizing the consumption of water, Egypt now is adopting many modern irrigation systems here in Egypt in order to curb the increasing water use in agriculture sector, because we know the agriculture sector is the biggest consumer of water. So it's very important to adopt modern techniques and irrigation. Also, Egypt in the field of wastewater treatment, Egypt has a leading role in this field, and it is a pioneer in this field. Recently, the Egyptian President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi inaugurated Bahr al-Bakr wastewater treatment plant, which is the largest in Africa and one of the biggest in the world. So Egypt has already made strides in this field. So as I told you, ensuring a quality and a quantity of water are the main pillars of the integrated water management. As I told you, adopting modern technologies and also modern irrigation techniques is also of paramount importance. Definitely, if you are talking about Cairo Water Week, it's very important also to share experience and benefit from experience of other countries, and also boosting international cooperation with international community. For example, Cairo Water Week is being held in cooperation with the European Union, World Water Council, FAO, ESCWA. So it's very important also to foster smart partnership with international community to ensure the integrated water management.
Yes, so Mrs. Sayed, could you tell us more about the World Youth Parliament for Water, its history, its goals, and also its achievements?
The World Youth Parliament of Water is a youth entity. It brings together influential youth leaders who are passionate towards water issues. It's very important to shed light on the role of youth in promoting or taking more active actions to address water challenges. Youth diplomacy now plays a vital role in creating a link between decision makers and specialists. Youth diplomacy now plays really a very active role. So it's very important to enhance and support youth to share panels, for example, with decision makers to address, for example, the proposals and the concerns also of younger generation. Because now, today, youth, I believe that youth is not tomorrow's leaders, they are today's leaders. So it's very important to engage them in all topics that are on top agendas of the government, like water challenges.
Yes, so Mrs. Amira, how do you see the Cairo Water Week that kicks off today under the auspices of President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi as an opportunity for or an international chance for dialogue and exchange of point of views?
Yeah, definitely. I always believe that such face-to-face meetings, spontaneous meetings, it lay a vision or it lay a foundation for a constructive dialogue, and also in order to draw visions towards our common future. Now we are not talking in Cairo Water Week about water challenges in Egypt or in Africa in particular. No, we are dealing with this fight from a broader and holistic perspective. So this helps us to reach more practical and swift solutions. Because now, water security is a global challenge. According to the World Economic Forum, it is the biggest risk that is facing humanity now. So it's like the news factor. So it has turned into a terrifying reality. We are not talking about a future concern or something like that. No, we are now experiencing the real water challenges. So definitely holding meetings that brings together decision makers, irrigation ministers from across the world is very important to share knowledge, to share experiences between other countries. Definitely also, for example, yesterday the Egyptian Irrigation Minister Mohammed Abdel held several meetings on the sidelines of the event with the Irrigation Minister of Iraq, of Burundi, Uganda. All these things are very important in order to adopt more integrated water policies to address the increasing water challenges here in the region.
Yes, Mrs. Amira, could you see that the conference of this gathering would manage water resources in order to face the population growth and the increasing demand of water?
Yeah, definitely. When we are talking about water security, we are really talking about sustainable development. It's part and parcel of sustainable development. SDG 6, or the sixth goal of sustainable development goals set by the United Nations, is dealing with water security. Climate action is also another goal of sustainable development goals. So they are connected to each other. When we are talking about water security, we are talking about sustainable development. And as you just mentioned, that this conference is being held under the auspices of the Egyptian President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi. So this reflects that the political leadership here in Egypt is giving a top priority to the water file in Egypt. Also, the Prime Minister Mustafa Madbouli is gonna deliver a speech in this event. I think that this speech is very important to highlight water challenges facing Egypt, and also the role of international community to boost cooperation to face such challenges. One of the main sessions in Cairo Water Week is to deal with dam safety and information. So it's really very important, and it's very rich in content. And every year, by the way, Cairo Water Week is also each edition is building on the recommendation of the previous years. We have seen many tangible results on the real ground. We have seen many cooperation protocols have been signed. So it's very important event, really.
Yes, I thank you very much for your time, Mrs. Amira Sayed, the journalist and also Egypt representative at the World Youth Parliament for Water. Ladies and gentlemen, a short break, and I'm going to be back with you.
For millions of years, the Nile has been flowing through the heart